Hey, everybody, welcome back to the A to Jump podcast. This is episode number 22, and I am your host, Jake, aka Gooba from the YouTube channel Gooba and Jetpack. And as always, I'm joined by my good buddy and co-host, Justin of Justin Games. Justin, how you doing, man?
I am great. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful.
Wonderful. That's good news.
Yeah,
Hey, it's been a long time since we've recorded,
it has.
so there's naturally a bunch to talk about. And
Mhm.
boy, I've played a lot of random games that I'm kind of excited to talk about. Plus, I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so I got some thoughts on that. Uh, Jake's played a few things. That's gonna be fun. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Jake. I'm pretty excited to talk about this, honestly.
I am as well.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Xbox continues to do Xbox things that make us just sit and scratch our head. And then there's some other little news bits that we're hopefully just have some good conversation with. So that's what this episode's going to look like.
Mhm.
First of all, Jake, would you like to start with what you've been playing?
I will. To be honest, not a whole lot. I believe the last time we recorded, I had just started Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. Um, I was enjoying it, but not nearly as gripped by it as I was hoping for.
Sure.
Um, and just I don't know, something about the story of it is interesting, but the gameplay is very just run of the mill hack and slash, like
Yeah.
melee combat. Um, you get through a good story bit or you do some investigating, and then like just on your travels to the next place is like, oh, there's three or four enemies and you have to fight them real quick. They're dead. Okay, continue moving on, and it's just a continuous pace of that. There's a few more puzzles kind of mixed in here and there, but it's mostly just go find a character, exhaust all of your dialogue, walk somewhere, do a battle along the way, maybe do a somewhat more difficult battle near the end of the mission, and then bunch of dialogue on to the next. Um, so
So
naturally, yeah,
just not very fun.
just not as fun as I think it could have been. Um,
Yeah.
so I kind of fell off that one for a while. Shortly after that, Rise of the Ronin came out,
But
and
before we move on,
yeah,
Banishers, do you think maybe it's just like a problem with game direction? Like, does it feel like something that is kind of like ran out of money, or if they just tried something that didn't work, or where do you think? What do you think? What went wrong? Maybe specifically.
um, with Banishers, I think it was just like they had a really good story and concept in mind. It is a very interesting concept for a game.
Yeah, yeah, I
Playing as
definitely
like
think so.
essentially a ghost hunter, but in the 1600s, and then your partner becomes a ghost themselves, and you have to
Right.
like work with them in the human and spirit world essentially,
Yeah, pretty
um,
cool.
which is a cool concept, and I think there's a lot of interesting things they could have done with that. But what it turned into was in when you're playing as Red, who's the human, you're just slashing ghosts and monsters with a sword. Eventually, you get a rifle that you can do like one shot every 5 seconds or something because it's the 1600s. So you have to like, takes
Reload your
forever to
musket.
reload after every
Yeah.
shot. Um, and there's like certain enemies that um, Antea, the ghost, is more powerful to, or like she'll have to fight them for the first phase of it, and then when they're out of that, you switch to Red and you can fight them. You can finish them off that way, and like it's fine. But I think there was a lot more interesting things I could have done with it. Um, and it's just more of like, copy and pasted enemies in every area.
Yeah. All right.
Occasionally they'll
Yeah.
add like a few, but they're all ones that you've seen already by like the third hour, I would say.
Ew, okay.
I've done one I think would be considered a major boss fight, and it was just so grindy and boring. It was like, you know, using the awful gun mechanics, take a shot and then, you know, move around for like 10 seconds, reloading your gun and waiting for the enemy to get in position or to charge at you, dodge once, shoot, rinse, repeat for 20 minutes. And it was just,
Eesh.
I don't know. I think about how excited I was for this game, and then
Yeah.
I look at what it ended up being, and I just feel disappointed. I feel like there's so much more they could have done. But
I really wanted this game to succeed. I
yeah.
mean, I didn't play it, so I didn't really have any. I didn't help anything. So, but I don't know. I feel like it wasn't marketed very well. It had a couple of trailers at
Hmm.
some showcases, but I think on like release day, I saw it on like the PlayStation front page or whatever
Hmm.
of the PlayStation Store, and then not after it at all.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. It sucks. Hopefully they're able to like maybe get a bigger budget on their next project, and I don't know, move on from there.
Hmm. Yeah. So I played that for a little while. I've kind of been dabbling in it now, here and there, just because I want to finish the story mostly.
Right.
Um, but yeah, not as gripped by it as I was hoping for. Um, but shortly after that game came out, we got Rise of the Ronin,
Yeah.
which was another one that I was very excited for. Not the same situation as Banishers by any means. I would say that it's definitely been uh it was more of what I expected it to be, and
Hmm.
it's been better received, I think, than Banishers was because people actually knew about it. Um, but it was definitely a game that uh, was made for better gamers than me.
Okay.
It's very Dark Souls, Sekiro.
Okay.
Like,
But
you know,
you love Souls games,
I
so
am very,
just
very
be
early
bad at them.
in my Souls career. Like,
Right.
and I'm still, and the part of Souls that I'm still very bad at is the sword combat, which
Right.
is
The
all
the
of this
main
game.
yeah, the main component.
Yeah. And it's by the creators of Neo, which I've heard is in some ways harder than Dark Souls. So
Okay.
I made it through probably the first like hour on normal difficulty, which they do have difficulty settings in this,
Whoa.
which
Okay.
is different from a Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
Um, I made it to the first boss, died probably like 5 or 6 times and was getting no progress. So I finally just said, all right, you know what? We're going to do it. Drop the difficulty down.
Yeah.
And played on easy for a while. Um, and again, it was like, I don't know if it's something with me or the games, but it just didn't grip me the way that I was hoping. I didn't really find myself excited to play it. It was kind of just playing it because you know, I bought it. I felt like I should play it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Right.
but well, actually, I think I got that one with a gift card or something. But anyway,
Okay.
um,
Well,
uh,
we'll ignore that fact.
yeah, I kind of put everything aside for a little while, and for whatever reason, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna play some games that I know I enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided to start going trophy hunting. So
Yeah.
I finished off the platinum for Spider-Man 2, which was a ton of
Perfect.
fun.
Nice.
Because that game just in general is fun swinging around the map, just collecting, doing the different enemy bases and stuff like that. That game has such fun core gameplay that I enjoyed every second of it, even if it might seem tedious to other people. So I knocked that out, and then I realized that I still, after all these years, don't have a platinum on the first Last of Us game.
That surprises me.
Yeah. So I went and looked, and on Last of Us Part 1, the most recent remaster, all you really have to do is just beat the game and get all of the collectibles. So there's no, like, you don't have to beat it on grounded or permadeath or anything to get the platinum. There are separate trophy categories for that, but to get the platinum, all you had to do is just beat the game and get all the collectibles. So I said, you know what?
Okay.
I haven't had a replay of Last of Us in a while, so just played through the game again, followed a guide, got all the collectibles.
Nice.
Played through Left Behind, and got myself another platinum. So
yeah, when it comes to trophy hunting, guides are essential, I think.
yeah, very much so.
Because you don't want to miss stuff. I'm so nervous because I don't like using guides. Like the first time I play through a game, I want it to be pretty natural.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to like miss something, especially in like the linear story games.
Yeah.
That would like impede your trophy or your platinum trophy chances,
Yeah.
So you'd have to like start over or go way back and screw everything up. But
Well, like, even when I wasn't trying to find trophies, like, just playing through a game the first time, I'm annoyingly thorough when it comes to going through the areas and like checking, is there some loot back here that I didn't see, or like, I'm always so nervous that I'm going to get to the door that's like the cutscene door where you go to open it and it automatically jumps to the next area. I'm like, no, I wasn't done. Like,
no.
But no, I had a good time just kind of going back to some games that I really enjoyed and kind of missed.
That's awesome.
Just, hunting down trophies rather than playing the newer games that I just kind of felt like I needed to play. So that was a good way to, like, make sure that I was still enjoying playing video games.
Yeah, that's what video games are all about, man. It's having fun.
And then the last game on my list that I've been playing is one that Jetpack and I collectively have been waiting for a while. The 34th Nancy Drew game has officially launched.
Oh, it's out?
It's out.
Is this the 7 Keys one?
Mystery of the 7 Keys, yep.
Okay, I've heard some things.
Yeah, so I won't go into everything because we are working on a review for it for the channel.
Okay.
But I will, I guess, come out and say that we were approached by Her Interactive, the company who made the game, to review it in exchange for a free code for the game. So we received the game for free. We basically went completely radio silent in terms of social media. Yeah, we didn't want any spoilers, so we just logged out of Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff for the last week or so while we played through it. And I don't want to like give away anything that we're going to talk about in the review.
Okay.
All I will say is that overall, I think it was good. I think it was an improvement on the last game, which was pretty widely considered not that great.
Okay.
I think there's some things they improved on. I do think that there's some things that they could have improved more on. But overall, it was a good addition to the series.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast network called MinMax, and they have a I don't know, like a member that's
Hmm.
really into the Nancy Drew games,
Okay.
and I listened to her thoughts on it. I don't think she was a very big fan. You said the
Yeah.
last one wasn't very good, right?
No. So they've
The one
had,
before this one? Maybe she
yeah.
was talking about that one. I don't remember.
Yeah. So the last one before this was in 2019. It was called Midnight in Salem. And that was pretty widely considered not very good. Um,
Okay.
they had uh, a bunch of changes to the studio. They did it on a completely new engine. There was, a lot of the people who made the original 32 or so games. Um, a lot of them were laid off. Uh,
Okay.
so it was kind of like making a whole new game with an entirely new engine and basically all new staff.
Ugh.
Um,
Yeah, it's never gonna be the same
yeah,
after you're doing that.
yeah. Which I made a whole video on our Gooba and Jetpack channel, kind of talking about what all happened with that.
Okay.
But basically, there hasn't been the best rapport between the studio and the fans
Yeah.
since then. I think they've done a really good job of trying to rebuild that with all of the marketing they were doing for this game. Uh, they were being very active with the community and like putting out puzzles and giving clues and all this stuff to what the game was eventually going to be.
Yeah.
Um, so I think they're trying to kind of turn it around. And I think that although this one wasn't perfect, I think it was a good step towards, you know, revamping the series.
Okay. Great. Well, I guess tune in to Gooba and Jetpack to get the cat out of the way to hear their full thoughts. When should we expect a video on that?
Soon. I'm not sure
Soon.
when this
Very
episode will
game
come out.
developer of you.
At time of recording
20.
this, I would say within the next week, hopefully we will
Okay.
have that out for people to enjoy.
Early 2024.
I mean, I think we're already
Yeah, we're past
quickly
early.
approaching mid 2024.
We'll do second quarter.
Okay.
Q2 2024. That gives you till like what? June-ish?
I think till the end of June.
Okay. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Okay, Jake, anything else?
That's kind of been about it. Just since we've finished Nancy Drew, as I was talking about, I have been kind of dabbling in Banishers again, just because I want to see what happens. But it's one of those playthroughs where I don't really care about like, going through and like finding all the side quests and collecting and all that stuff. I really just want to like get through the main story and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I just want to see how it ends type deal.
Yeah.
I'm watching this cat very closely because if she starts eating my flowers, I'm gonna kick her butt.
I can see her in.
There must be a
like,
bug.
camera.
Must be a bug or something she's watching. Hey, hang on. I'm gonna get her down. So I finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth,
All right.
and I think I texted you like while the credits were rolling, like saying I think that was the best game ever made. And obviously, Final Fantasy VII, the original, is my favorite game of all time. So I said this on the last episode, but I'll say it again. If you're looking for an unbiased opinion, it's not coming from here, okay?
No.
100% biased. I don't think I could ever dislike this game. Yeah, I thought it was perfect. 10 out of 10. If anything, just being with those characters is just all I ever wanted. I don't really care what the game was, as long as I got to experience that world and that story, like what the gameplay was like. See what I mean? There she is again. Yeah, just being Cloud and hanging out with the whole gang, and just being able to experience that story. It's like my favorite story of all time. Like it was so. Oh, I did this last time and I had to edit out a bunch of me just stumbling over my words because how much I love this game. Like, even the things that a lot of people didn't like all the mini games. Sure, there's a lot of mini games. Were they all fun? No, but I still did them all. You know, it's because being able to turn Cloud or turn the whole gang into frogs and then just jump on some weird platform as like a mini game, like that's not entirely fun, but it's just cool and I love it. Or having like Red 13 play a Rocket League type game. Like, what the heck? This is so stupid, but sign me up. I'll get the top score. That's fine.
All for it.
Yeah, I mean, I everything about it was perfect. I mean, there's one scene, and I know you don't know anything about these characters, but there's a character called Kate Sith who's a robot cat. Final Fantasy VII's weird, okay?
Okay.
And there's a sequence where you have to play as the robot cat, and you have to like traverse this mansion and throw boxes, and it's probably the least amount of fun I've ever had in a video game ever, just because it was like such a slow sequence. But I didn't care. I'm like, this is amazing. I give me more. But yeah, that was just a small part, but just that story is so amazing, and I feel bad for you that you don't know this story. You know, I feel bad for the people that haven't played it, just that haven't experienced another cat. Too many cats in this house. But yeah, so I think I want to touch on some spoilers here, some big spoilers. So if you don't want to know the big spoilers, because there's no chance you ever play
spoiler warning.
There's no chance you ever play this game, right, Jake?
No, and I probably I know pieces of it from YouTube videos and stuff over the years, so like not of this one specifically, but just Final Fantasy VII in general.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are, big spoiler territory. Jump ahead, timestamps below. So do you know the big spoiler of Final Fantasy VII?
I believe it's that Aerith is killed, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So that was like my huge anticipation. Like, the developers said that scene takes place at the Temple of the Ancients. And they said pre-release that the game was going to end at the Temple of the Ancients. So all Final Fantasy fans everywhere were wondering, like, are they going to kill Aerith? Or are they going to stop the game right before she's supposed to die? And, you know, would they actually go through with it and stuff like that? Because the original Final Fantasy VII, the entire story is based on Aerith dying. And that's like in disc 1. There's 3 discs of the original Final Fantasy VII. So it happens pretty early on in the original game.
Yeah.
So much story stuff happens after. So I was pretty sure she was going to die, but I wasn't really sure how she was going to die or what was going to happen to lead up to it and stuff like that. But I was playing this sequence like in the middle of the day on my couch, and my wife is in the kitchen at the counter reading or something like that while I'm playing this, and the sequence is coming up. Like there's this big fight between Cloud and Sephiroth, and the getting into the even more spoilery stuff. Like Sephiroth can control Cloud because Cloud is infused with Sephiroth's DNA or something like that. Okay. It's a long story, but Sephiroth can control Cloud to give him materia that will end the world, and Aerith doesn't want Sephiroth to have that, so she's trying to stop Cloud from giving him that materia, but he can't stop. And it's just, they did such an amazing job at building the tension through all this. Like I thought they were gonna like throw me for a huge loop and gonna kill Aerith some completely different way. And so like during that whole cutscene, I'm like watching through fingers like this because I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm so nervous. And she doesn't die in that scene. They fall through, and like it's just such a good job of the game direction. It was so perfect, and I was on the edge of my seat for I don't know, an hour or two during all this. But the scene finally does happen, and Aerith essentially does die. Sephiroth does kill her, which I knew was going to happen, but just the way they do it is like intentionally confusing, because even at the end of remake, everyone was confused, like what the heck just happened. And so obviously Rebirth was going to be the same, because Aerith is an ancient, and death isn't exactly the end for ancients. So she's killed, but I don't think she's actually dead. She's just not around. And only Cloud can see her now, I guess, which I'm not really understanding, but I don't think I'm supposed to. But yeah, I just can't gush about this story enough. It's just how amazing and how just on edge I felt the whole time. I don't think a video game has ever or will ever do that to me, because I can remember in like, had it been like 2003 that I played this, just how on the edge of my seat I was watching these crappy polygons, with text scrolling across the screen that I'm reading myself. And it's to have it visualized in such an amazing way with fantastic voice acting and art direction and all that stuff. It's just, it was just amazing. So 10 out of 10. I know you're not going to play it, but you should.
Game of the year for you, for sure.
Nothing will ever top it.
Yeah.
Maybe the third Final Fantasy VII. But yeah, because you would text me like game of the year, like probably my number one game of all time now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it had some crappy open world stuff, but I didn't care. Like I did it all. I think I had like 103 hours by the time I rolled credits, just because I wanted to do everything. And going through the trophy list, like I think I could do the platinum, but it would require you to like get the top score in all the mini games.
Oh yeah.
I don't know an actual count, but I bet there's 15 to 20 mini games, and they're not all easy. Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll suck, but I think I could do it. And you do have to finish it in hard mode, but I've watched a few videos, like hard mode guides, like how to set your team up with like the best materia combinations and stuff like that. Then I think I could get through it. Let's see, what other things. I think that's kind of it. I mean, I loved it. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think someone like you that didn't grow up playing Final Fantasy VII, I don't think you'd even like this game, honestly. But I think you could beeline the story and you'd probably enjoy it that way.
Hmm.
But I don't think anybody's gonna like doing the random open worlds, or not everybody's gonna like doing all the random open world stuff, which is one of the big complaints I've seen, and all the mini games.
Hmm.
But yeah.
So it kind of seems like, for somebody like you who grew up with Final Fantasy VII, it up until this point, I guess, has been your favorite game.
Mhm.
Like, it's very hard to look at essentially your favorite game, but looks 1,000 times better with great voice acting and, you know, uh, really well made, and have a negative view of it. Where, like, for me, I only really know Final Fantasy stories in passing or from other sources.
Mhm.
So I look at it, I'm like, that's cool. I don't really want to do all that, but I
Yeah.
can appreciate how that's this is probably a huge release for you, and I'm happy that you got to experience that.
Oh yeah. Definitely one of my favorite video game experiences
Hmm.
ever. Yeah, it was amazing, and it's gonna be hard to fill that gap in my brain and my heart now that I just played my probably my favorite game of all time, and now I'm gonna have to try to play it another game that I'll just never be able to feel that feeling again.
That's how it is, man. I mean, I've kind of had that feeling since last year when Spider-Man 2 came out, because even though it's not my favorite game, it is, a very well-made sequel to one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was just keep enjoying that. I wish I could play it again for the first time.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
when it was done, I was like, all right, I guess I'll jump into Banishers now. Like, it's just it's just
E.
like, nothing against Banishers, but it doesn't hit the same when you try and
No,
play something after one of your favorite gaming experiences.
yeah. Like I can remember beating The Witcher 3 and just like being completely lost. Like
Hmm.
I don't know what to do. I That's when I bought all the books. And I was like, I'll just immerse myself more into this world.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. So I've been playing a lot of other games.
Hmm.
Um
Just got to fill that void somehow, man.
yeah, so buckle up. I've been playing a few. Okay. So, a few years ago, I think it was 2019 when Fire Emblem Three Houses came out.
Hmm.
And I fell in love with Fire Emblem. I wanted to play the older ones, but they're all on 3DS or like GameCube or
Hmm.
stuff like that. So I went on the hunt to get a 3DS, and I've been looking all over. And a guy I work with had one and was willing to sell it to me for like $50.
Okay.
And I didn't tell him this, but that was way cheaper than anything else what he could have gotten. Because on
Way
eBay,
lowballed it.
yo, big time. So that came with a 3D new 3DS XL, which is the newest version, a case, and Monster Hunter Stories.
Okay.
So all that on eBay probably would have been $200-300. So thanks, Jim.
Thanks, man.
50 works. Yeah, I'll take it. So I did that, and then I bought. Yeah, I think I have all the Fire Emblem games
Oh, really?
that are on 3DS.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got Fire Emblem Awakening, Fates Conquest. What's the other one? I forget. I got that, and then I got Echoes. I all in one thing on eBay for like $150,
Mm-hmm.
which these are pretty rare games, or at least expensive games,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, they're expensive on eBay. But anyway, moral of the story: I have my 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
I got kind of I have this thing where I scroll through my phone too much, and I get irrationally angry. I don't understand. If it's just like the content that I see, it makes me mad, and I don't want to do it anymore. So, like, screw scrolling through my phone. I'll just play my 3DS
Mm-hmm.
while like my kid's watching a movie on the TV or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I busted out Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which I bought for my wife a very long time ago
Yeah.
because I thought maybe she'd like a Pokemon game, and she does like Pokemon, but she's only played it on the Switch. She never played it on the
Mhm.
3DS.
Yeah.
So I started playing it, and I have a weird relationship with Pokemon. I love Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I watch the anime all the time, and I've played a lot of the games, but I don't think I've ever finished one. I played all the ones on Switch, but yeah, never finished those. That's not true. I think I finished which one is it? Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I think I have Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
I beat Shining Pearl.
Okay.
That was fun. I like that one. So I really like Pokemon, and I want to like it more. I should actually try to finish most of the games I have. I have a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing Alpha Sapphire, which is good. I guess that's Generation 3. You were really into Pokemon back in the day, weren't you?
I was really into like the first maybe 2 generations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I can
I
remember.
probably around Ruby Sapphire was when I kind of like stopped getting into it. But like obviously Red, Blue, Yellow was my jam.
Yeah.
It was definitely the one I played the most. Which I recently just bought a used copy of Pokemon Yellow for
excellent
a little nostalgia.
as like a physical. Well,
Yeah.
obviously physical.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you still have your old Game Boys and stuff?
Nope.
Oh, you just have like
Jetpack had a Game Boy at her parents' house, which we're not sure if it's hers or if it's one of her siblings, but
yours now.
I have it now. So
This is mine.
it was okay. It was definitely not hers. It was one of her siblings. But
Well,
it's mine now. So
It's gone. So
or I'm
I don't know
using
what
it
happened.
at least. They
I
can
don't know
have it
what
back
happened
if they want it, I guess.
It'll be in the mail. Don't worry. Oh, it must have gotten lost.
Oh darn! What happened?
Weird.
But yeah, no, I when it comes to Pokemon, what I really loved was the original first generation 151.
Yeah.
After that, I still was interested in it during like the gold and silver era, but
That's Gen 2.
that's Gen 2. And then
Okay.
I think Ruby and Sapphire was Gen 3, right?
Yes. And Alpha Sapphire's the remake of
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Omega
So
Ruby.
I may have played a little bit of that generation, but not a lot.
Okay. Torchic was my starting Pokemon.
Okay. Mhm.
She's cool. Or he's cool. I don't know.
They're cool.
They're cool, yes. I need to get better at it because I worked with a guy who loves Pokemon. He still had all his old Game Boys and all the old games.
Mhm.
I don't think he realizes how much money he's sitting on. Because I was looking like, even like Heart Gold is going for like $250
Mhm.
on eBay. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But he knows all the types. Like, oh, this is weak to this is weak to this, like without even looking it up. Like the guy just memorized it.
Yeah.
Oh, just do this, and you'll kick their butt. Like, oh, wow, okay, sweet. So I have to look at a guide, but
Mhm.
I want to be able to, because I love like turn-based strategy games, and that talk about the most popular turn-based strategy game on Earth. Like,
Yeah.
I should be able to. I should be playing these. So yeah, I had Torchic. I got some other cute ones. It's like a cat one named Skitty.
Skitty.
Skitty, yeah. I got like a wolf one. Forget his name. He's cool. But yeah, during the gym, people, it's like I realize these are supposed to be like the hardest. Like it's supposed to be hard to beat these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're like impossible. They
Yeah.
kick my butt every time unless you know these like matchups and you happen to have the right Pokemon for that with the right type move for that. So I spent a lot of time like trying to level up a freaking seagull so he could have a powerful enough water attack because it was the only water Pokemon I had that had a water attack, so I could beat the rock gym leader. But they use some like sand attack that apparently bird or seagulls are weak to, and then wipes you. So you're stuck doing all that. As I had a tough time with the first gym leader.
Yeah.
The Brock wannabe, the rock guy.
They're all Brock. Or
Yeah,
they all wish they were Brock.
Everybody wishes they were Brock. But yeah, I finally made it past that. I think I have like 3 badges now, maybe 4.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, it's just so relaxing and fun just to play a Pokemon game, you know? Especially, this is weird and specific, but just the sound coming through the 3DS speakers, it's just that like mono music or whatever. It's just, I like the sound of Pokemon music.
Oh yeah.
On a mono speaker like that. It's just, it's nice. Yeah, it's just a chill game. You can collect cute Pokemon and have fun that way.
Yeah. And that's honestly like not all I've been doing. I played it like twice, but like I have the Game Boy next to our bed now, and that's just like before we go to bed, we usually like read or scroll on our phones or something like that, and you know, every now and then I'll pick it up and I'll just play through, like, you know, play for like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a nice, relaxing, easy game. You don't have to, like, there's combat technically, but it's just, you know, turn-based.
Yeah.
There's not like any, like, it's not intense. You don't have to be like on the edge of your seat the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Except some of those gym battles. I'm telling you.
Those are just, they suck because, like, if I remember right, don't you have to, if you get beat at any point, don't you have to fight everybody leading up to the gym leader again?
At least not in this.
Okay.
Because I was thinking that too, but no, you can just run right past everybody.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Maybe in the old ones you did, but yeah, not in this one.
Yeah.
That would suck. I'd probably stop playing if I had to do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. My biggest complaint is it takes too long to get a Pikachu, because Pikachu's my favorite Pokemon. So immediately I looked up where can I get it, and you can't get it until after like your 6th gym badge or something like that.
Oh no.
It's like halfway through the game, dude. Like I don't want to be 30 hours in and just get my first Pikachu, but whatever.
Hey, just play yellow, or
yeah, right.
Let's
You
Go
get 'em from the
Pikachu.
start.
That's your starter Pokemon.
Don't get Let's Go Pikachu was bad. I didn't like
Really?
that. Not that it was bad, but just not what I was looking for.
I can definitely, you know, for me, it was just very nostalgic, like getting to explore the same map as Yellow, but in 3D now. I didn't love that you just like caught Pokemon. You didn't like have to battle them first.
Yeah.
So it was literally just like, all right, how many like Ultra Balls can I throw and before I catch this thing? Like,
Yeah.
it just, I wish that there would have been a battle part to that, but other than that, I liked it.
I never finished it, so
I didn't either.
okay.
I have kind of the same relationship with Pokemon. I've played a good amount. I haven't beat more
Yeah,
than
like
one.
love Pokemon. There's nothing not to like about it.
Hmm.
I buy every game. I just don't play them
Yeah,
enough anyway. But I'm trying
yeah.
to change. I'm trying to change, Jake.
Someday.
Someday. We're starting off strong. Okay, well, the first game I tried to fill my Final Fantasy VII Rebirth sized hole in my heart with was Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon,
Okay.
which I've always wanted to play since it came out. I've heard
Hmm.
it's one of like the best JRPGs made in a long time.
Hmm.
And Yakuza 7 was like a huge turning point for that studio, like the Yakuza series. It's always been like action focused combat,
Hmm.
but Yakuza 7 changed it to turn based,
Okay.
which, if given the choice, I would always take a turn based combat.
Hmm.
So that's intriguing. But so Sega makes this game, same people that make Persona, not the same studio, but like same publisher. But they are similar in the fact that their intros are long. Oh my god. Like 3 hours and you haven't done much but walk around
Uh-huh.
long. And it, like, don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's got a good story so far. The main character Ichiban is part of the Yakuza,
Hmm.
which I always thought was interesting. Like, I know nothing about that series,
Hmm.
but the Yakuza, like, not good.
Yeah.
Those are really those are bad people. Those are
Yeah.
So I was always kind of interested to see how this game portrays them.
Hmm.
But so Ichiban was like an orphan and was like left abandoned and kind of taken in by the Yakuza, given a family basically.
Hmm.
Uh, but it doesn't really touch much on, like, I don't know, terrible things they do. Like, you start off the game and the very first thing you do is catch a guy who was selling porn to kids. So I mean,
Okay.
it's you're good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And you make him give his money back and get the porn back from the kids. Uh, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know much about the series, but weird is definitely a description I've heard
yeah.
about it.
It's very strange, very goofy, unserious,
Hmm.
but still serious at the same time. Uh, but anyway, there's a larger story going on with the patriarch of your branch of the Yakuza.
Hmm.
So I'm guessing there's the Yakuza, and then there's different branches of the Yakuza, and then there's different families of that branch and the Yakuza. So you got like
Hmm.
a tree going on here. So there's a larger story with the patriarch, like the boss of the family that Ichiban is in.
Hmm.
But um so yeah, one of your fellow gang members shoots somebody, and if the cops look into that guy, they're going to discover other things that the patriarch has done, and then he's going to go to jail, and he can't go to jail. So he asks Ichiban to take the fall for the murder, and he can just go away. And he's kind of a nobody still. He's young.
Hmm.
So they won't investigate, and he'll just go to jail. And Ichiban is like really excited to do that because he wants to repay this guy for, saving taking him in.
Hmm.
So he ends up spending like 18 years in prison, and he comes out and he's like 41, and he wants to rejoin his boss and be part of the gang again, and he finds out things are completely different.
Mm-hmm.
That his boss joined a different branch of the Yakuza, and he's really upset about that, and he wants to, ask him why, and then it's just like I said, I've played like 6 hours of this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of cutscenes. It's just tons of cutscenes, and so much happens so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But your boss ends up shooting you and like abandoning you someplace else. We don't know why, but we kind of know why. I'm guessing there's like a Gus Fring thing going on here. Gus is from Breaking Bad, has a huge motive why he's trying to take down the cartel. I
Yeah.
think this like his patriarch has a motive for like killing his father or something like that
Yeah.
to take down the rest of the Yakuza.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he's trying to do everything he can to keep that intact. And I think Ichiban's is going to end up screwing it up. But that's where I left off. I'm like 6 hours in. I can't sit and watch any more cutscenes. I need something to like do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's good. It's fun. I like the turn-based combat. It's goofy. It's silly. It's funny. I'm curious to see again how like Yakuza are portrayed. It's they might just be really nice gang members. I don't know.
That kind of gives me a thought of like, I think when it comes to portraying groups of people that in real life are terrible, I think that you kind of have to take it not super seriously, or else you're just gonna be sad the whole time. So like,
gotta be a little silly
with Yakuza, or like, I've never played the Mafia games, but I assume it's similar in that, or like even Grand Theft Auto, like you're in gangs and some of that, but it's always like a little bit lighthearted, because if you just focus on all the atrocities that you're doing, then it's just gonna be sad. You're gonna feel bad for it. Where if you kind of make them look like silly and like not take it super seriously, then you can still make it fun.
Yeah.
While kind of touching on
without being super depressing.
Yeah.
So they only call it Yakuza, the game's Yakuza in like the West.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan, the game is called Like a Dragon. The series is called Like a Dragon. So after Yakuza 7, all the Yakuza games are now called Like a Dragon.
Okay.
So there was Like a Dragon Ishin and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which is the sequel to Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little confusing, but I think it's good. I was surprised they stuck with it as long as they did. But okay, that's all I've got to say about that.
Okay.
Good game. We'll continue. Just when I feel like sitting and watching cutscenes.
There will come a day when that sounds intriguing.
Yeah, they will. So shortly after that was my birthday. And
happy birthday.
Thank you. And I received a rather large influx of cash from family members who don't know what to buy me. So I put it in the bank and ordered and bought a bunch of video games.
You know what? That's the perfect gift.
It really is.
Yeah. Do whatever you want with it.
I bought a bunch.
Yeah.
And I only like to buy games that are on sale. Feels like I'm cheating the system that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of those games was Greedfall. Have you ever heard of Greedfall?
I have had Greedfall in my backlog for probably years now.
It came out in 2019. I had to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember it getting announced. I remember seeing like, this looks freaking awesome. And just never got around to playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally found it on sale. It's like the full, excuse me, dog. Full game, full DLC for like $11.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna play this. It's from a studio. It's Focus Interactive, made by Spiders is a developer,
Okay.
which of course you know them from
Do I?
nothing I recognize. uh, but yeah, so this is a very double A game. Focus Interactive did Plague Tale, the publishers of Plague Tale.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very double A. If it looks very double A,
Mm-hmm.
but very solid game.
Yeah.
So the main premise of this story, it's a very story heavy RPG.
Okay.
You are on a fictional island or a fictional land that I'm forgetting the name of, but there's a disease taking over or spreading all the people, spreading to all the people on the land. They've got like a black mark on their face. That's where it starts, and then it like takes over their face, and they lose their vision, real ugly, and they die.
Okay.
And it's just wreaking havoc on this land. And people have tried everything they can, but their last hope is to travel to this distant island where it's said that there's magic and could be a cure.
Okay.
So your goal is to go to this island and come back with a cure to hopefully save your people, which I think is pretty cool. But you start off as the character creator, very basic character creator. Like I said, double A, feels double A. The character models look pretty strange, like especially when they smile.
Okay.
When they talk, like their teeth just look kind of creepy. But environment wise, like the cities look really good. Voice acting, phenomenal. But so most of this, I can tell that this game is going to be mostly dialogue driven. You spend a large portion, like the intro of the game, is you're on your home island, you're getting prepared to get on a big sailboat and head to the new island or the new land.
Yeah.
And your cousin, who is the prince, you play like the legate, which makes you like basically the diplomatic numero uno to the new people on the island.
Okay.
So you're powerful, and your cousin is the prince, and he's going to be the new governor. He's going to rule over everything, which basically makes you number 2. But your cousin's missing. You got to go try to find your cousin, and you find out he is being imprisoned. I think I played this a while ago. I wish I remember. Like, I don't know. I think he made like some bad bets or something like that, and people put him in jail or like captured him.
Okay.
But the gameplay is very choice driven. You can do some, like you said, you're an exhaustive explorer. Like you check every door and every corner of every house, which I do too. And you can stumble upon a note that says, "Oh, we hid the key for the thing over here." And you can then go find that key and like sneak in to the building and let him out that way and sneak out the back and never be seen. Or you can like walk in the front door and try your hand at negotiating. Like if your negotiating skill is high enough, you can just convince them that he should be let free. Or you can just go in guns blazing, kill everybody. Or you can just like sneak in, try to lockpick the gate or the prison cell. There was tons of different options, which I feel like was kind of a hot thing in 2019. Like I can't remember what other games did that, but I feel like several games were kind of like that. But yeah, so I did all the side content in that little area because I just wanted to, get a good feel for everything. And so many of the things were like that. You could wear a disguise to blend in with some sailors, and you could convince them that you're the relief for their guard, and that like their boss wants to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they just leave, and you're free to roam the entire building and steal all their stuff. Or there's like a little opening on the side where they can't see you. You can just sneak in, do that. There's just tons of different little choices you can make, and I understand it's the intro, so I'm hoping the rest of the game has that amount of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I could see them really front loading all that stuff. Excuse me. Just to like grab the player. So I mean, this game could take a deep fall.
Mm-hmm.
But so far it has like a companion system where you can have up to 2 party members, I think, and they'll fight with you. The combat is maybe on like the Banishers level.
Yeah.
So you can be a magic user, or I think you can be proficient in magic, swords, or guns, maybe. I can't remember. But I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's muskets, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
So I chose magic, which is fine. Like again, the combat is just okay. I'm just mashing square. Okay, I'll hit triangle for a strong attack.
Mm-hmm.
Dodge every once in a while. It's nothing crazy, but maybe it'll get there. They keep saying that like on the new island there's creatures that you've never seen before, some as tall as houses and stuff like that. So I'm thinking it might be kind of Witcher-ish with the monsters.
Okay.
That might be kind of cool if you could have like contracts and stuff like that, like you do in The Witcher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, super solid. I like the narrative focus of it, like more than I like the narrative in Like a Dragon, because in Like a Dragon you're just watching a cutscene of people talking.
Yeah.
Whereas in Greedfall, it's kind of like Witcher 3, where you're talking and then you have some dialogue choices, and you can choose to advance the conversation quickly, or you can dive deeper into other little things.
Mm-hmm.
Which I always like that. It just feels more, I don't know, I feel like I can pay attention more when I have to push a button in between. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it works.
You've got some choice in it that kind of keeps you engaged.
Yeah, that's it. I feel more engaged when I can have the choice in that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably like 5 or 6 hours into that too. I just got to the new island, and I've started helping some people doing some side quests there. The side quests are fine so far, which is hard to do. Side quests in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, not that great.
Yeah.
So far, better than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth side quests.
Okay.
Maybe. But very solid. I definitely want to keep playing that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on. I'm gonna try to speed through these. This is just what we've been playing. Balatro. Have you heard of Balatro?
I have not.
You have not heard of this?
I don't think so.
Crazy. Please just give it a Google. I heard this take over like all the gaming podcasts I've listened to. That I guess it took over Steam. It went nuts. Tons of people have been playing it. And so it's billed as like the poker roguelike. And
you know,
I really like.
I probably have heard of this at least.
Okay.
Like I've heard people talk about it.
Okay. So I didn't really know what to expect. I I love card games.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I would definitely like this. So and I really like roguelikes, good roguelikes, like Slay the Spire.
Mm-hmm.
And this definitely scratches that Slay the Spire itch. Um, so quickly to try to, like, I was trying to plan in my head how I was going to explain this game to you, and I don't think I can do it very well, but I'm going to try.
All right.
So you get at the beginning of the round, you have like your opponent is to beat a score, called the ante, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, um, so you get a hand of like 10 cards, I think, and you have to make out of those cards poker hands. So like straight, two of a kind, three of a kind, full house, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pick a few cards to discard if you want to try to make something else. So if you play like a two of a kind, so a two of a kind has a if you play a two of a kind, it has like a base level 1 score of like 20 chips at 2 times. That's not what it is, but that's what it is in my brain. That's the example I'm using. So if you play any two of a kind, you start with 20 chips times a 2 times modifier. And then, depending on what the cards you play, will get added to the chip count. So aces count as 11 chips. All face cards are 10 chips. Then the 10 card is 10 chips, and then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Okay.
So if you play 2 queens, 2 kings, that's 40 chips at times 2. So the higher cards you play, the more chips you get, and then that goes to your score, and that's the score you got to try to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Where the roguelike part of it comes in are these cards called jokers.
Okay.
And the jokers all do different things where, it'll add a certain multiplier based on, like, one of them is like every diamond hand every card in a hand that's a diamond will add 2 multiplier to it. Mm-hmm. So if you played, a couple, the two of the cards, the king and the queen that you played on the two of a kind were diamonds, you would get more multiplier, so more score to add to the total score.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just super fun. And I was kind of confused at first. I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Like, it's a pretty surprisingly deep game.
Mm-hmm.
But as I went on, I kind of got to understand it more.
Okay.
And then you can level up your poker hands. Like I said, two of a kind is worth 20 chips times a 2 times multiplier. Well, if you level that up with a certain like card pack, like celestial cards, I think level up those.
Mm-hmm.
You can raise that to level 2. Well, now it's 40 chips times 4 multiplier.
Okay.
Or something like that. So you can get it to the point where like a two pair is worth more than a full house. So you got to like constantly refer back to, what hands are higher than others, and plan your stuff that way. And I think the point, like there's like three matches per round. And there's a small blind, the big blind, and then the boss.
Mm-hmm.
The boss, and like each time the score gets higher and higher, and you can skip blinds if you want, and it'll give you something random, like will instantly give you a free celestial pack, which you should always take because those will level up your hands. I think is super important. That's the way to get the higher scores. So I think I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this. but it's just it's hard to put into words all the numbers that are going on and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
but it is a very good roguelike. If you like roguelikes or if you like poker, I think this is a lot of fun.
Hmm.
So I would highly recommend.
Okay.
And then quickly, the reason I even stopped playing Greedfall is I finally decided to give Final Fantasy XIV a chance.
Hmm.
I've always been very skeptical because of the MMO aspect. Like, I don't want to play MMOs. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to do all that MMO crap.
Hmm.
But I've watched a few YouTube videos that said you could solo this 100% and still have fun. So I dove in. I probably only played a couple hours,
Hmm.
but I really like it so far. It's pretty relaxing. There's no or there's at least very little voice acting.
Okay.
It's all just like sound effects and music, and it's
Mhm.
quite calming.
Okay.
So yeah, it's fun. I'm very early on, and I know there's like 4 or 5 expansions out right now. There's like literally 500 hours worth of content. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
gonna be a while. It's gonna be a long
Yeah.
journey. But yeah, I enjoy it so far.
Good.
Whew, I need to stop talking. My voice is my voice is hurting right now. But yeah, that's everything I've been playing.
You've been playing a lot.
I've been playing a lot. I've been busy.
Yeah.
I had to tell my wife, like, don't let me buy any more games. I've gotten too many on my backlog now.
Need to break into the backlog a little bit every now and
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, I'm gonna be good for probably a year. Or until this very next game that we're about to discuss comes out.
Yes, we are. So, it's a series that we've talked about quite a bit on this channel. Assassin's Creed has just announced and shown a trailer and a release date for Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, what was that release date?
November 15th, I think.
I think that's right. I was gonna guess that.
Where'd it go? I should have just searched release date right with it. November 15th. Yep.
November 15th. You were right.
It's the long anticipated and rumored samurai Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I haven't been super invested in the series in a few entries, but even back in the like earlier days, there was always rumors of like, I think the next one's going to be the samurai one.
Yeah, we always said that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Japan one. It's gonna be
probably-
Japan.
It's been like 10 years now, and they're still, I think that rumor's been around.
Yeah.
But it's finally here. And
It's here. And
I gotta say, trailers got me excited.
it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was 100% a CGI trailer.
Yeah, for sure.
No gameplay is shown, but it was a really cool CGI trailer.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at the release date. Like,
Yeah.
I did not expect it so soon. What is that, 6 months from now?
Yeah. Less
like
than
that.
that, I think. Or no.
Six.
Right. Just about 6 months.
It's just about 6 months. Math was hard there for a second.
I get it.
But yeah, I was fully not expecting a release date
Mhm.
at all, or like a 2025 thing.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. But yeah, the CGI trailer is incredible. And so I watched a couple videos. I watched like an exclusive IGN thing, and then I watched a Ubisoft video talking about a little bit more about the game.
Mhm.
So it is going to be dual protagonists.
Yep.
You're going to play as Yahweh. I forget how to pronounce her name. Something like that.
Okay.
Or you can play as Yasuke,
Mm-hmm.
who is apparently is the first playable actual real person in an Assassin's Creed game.
Really?
So yeah, so Yasuke
Okay.
was a real person
Mm-hmm.
who was a black man in Japan in like 1580 something.
Mm-hmm.
Who was apparently a very like prominent samurai and had some big historical meaning. Like he brought um, together some really powerful figures and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were saying like the narrative designer, and there was they had with the they were interviewing somebody that was with Ubisoft that was like I forget what her title was, but she was like a master of Japanese history or something like that.
Okay.
So that was really cool. I mean, obviously, Assassin's Creed always does their due diligence when it comes to the historical aspect. Like, they always want to get things right.
Mm-hmm.
Not like historically accurate, but just like respectable. I think
Yeah.
is what they use. Like, they're not gonna be. This isn't gonna be a 1-for-1
Mm-hmm.
remake of 1500s Japan. But I think they said they just wanted to have like a respectable retelling of history or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you're gonna be able to play as Yasuke and Yaoi, who I guess they're making the daughter of a real person. I forget all their names,
Mm-hmm.
but Yasuke is gonna be the samurai, which is they're gonna be like the big brute that if you want to go in and just kill everybody.
That was the exact word I was going to use.
Brute.
Yeah.
You'll be able to play as him, or if you want to play as Yaoi, the shinobi, which is going to be more like the ninja,
Mm-hmm.
you can play as her, which apparently you can switch on the fly anytime you want. So,
I love that. That's
yeah.
a very cool feature.
So this is the same studio that made Syndicate and the studio that made Odyssey. So
Okay.
dual protagonists is really their thing, apparently. Because you could play as Jacob and Evie in that. And
Mm-hmm.
so Yaoi is going to be like Evie, gonna sneak around. I guess she has like a grappling hook that you can throw and be able to swing around. Yeah, just like Evie had like a grappling gun or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Yasuke is going to be like Jacob. You know, he went in and just kicked everybody's butt.
Yeah.
But in that game, like, you could roam the world with whoever you wanted. But when it came to like the story missions, you had to play as, you know, like both.
Yeah.
So I imagine there'll be a little bit of that in this. And then like in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, at the very beginning, you could pick Cassandra or what's his name? Jake?
Couldn't tell you.
Doesn't matter. The boy, the brother.
Yeah.
But then like I picked Cassandra when I played that.
Mm-hmm.
But you play as Cassandra the whole game, and then the person you don't pick kind of becomes your rival.
Okay.
You guys get I mean, Odyssey was actually pretty good. I
Yeah.
never finished it, but it was pretty good. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the like the CGI trailer kind of made it seem like Yasuke came and burned down Yaoi's village.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of seemed like maybe they're gonna be rivals at first, and then maybe like join up. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah.
They weren't specific at all on story stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like their big selling point for this game is going to be seasons. And
Yeah.
I thought this was pretty cool. They said if you it's an open world.
Mm-hmm.
It's apparently about the size of Origins,
Okay.
which was big, but also a giant desert, which wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
But so apparently you can do missions, a lot of missions in any order you want.
Mhm.
So if you do a certain mission during the summer or the spring, there's going to be, foliage everywhere, like really tall grass that you
Mhm.
can hide in, and trees will be filled in with leaves. But if you do that same mission in the winter, that grass won't be there. The trees won't have leaves, so you won't be able to hide.
Okay.
You'll have to find, you won't be able to hide there, but you'll have to find like a different place to hide. And I think he said you could hide in like deep snow or
Mhm.
something like that.
Okay.
And he said doing certain missions while it's raining heavily,
Mhm.
you'll be able to mask your footsteps more
Okay.
because they won't be able to hear your footsteps coming. You'll be able to be a little bit louder when it's raining. So I thought that was kind of cool. Is it going to be a huge gameplay factor? I doubt it, but I think it's just kind of it's a cool touch.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
it's I think it's interesting. That's a gameplay mechanic that I don't think we've ever seen. Like we've seen, different seasons in a game before, but I don't think it's ever really affected how the game is played.
Not as dynamic
Yeah.
as that. Maybe
Mhm.
Red Dead 2, but you had to like go up in the mountains for it to get snowy and stuff like that. It's not like it
Yeah.
was getting snowy on the ground
That's
and stuff.
yeah. And even that was like all that really affected was what type of clothes you have to wear. Like,
Yeah.
walking through the snow is a little bit slower, but like
Yeah.
I find it I actually didn't know this until you said it. I find it really interesting that the amount of leaf coverage on the trees will affect like your stealth
Yeah. Yeah.
cuz
Now that I'm saying that, like, I don't know if he said that, but that would be cool.
yeah.
But he definitely said like the grass. He said grass is,
Okay.
the grass won't be there in the winter,
Mhm.
but maybe there won't be as much leaf coverage. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean even just the grass, like, it um that's something that I feel like could have affected stealth and stuff like that in previous games, but they didn't quite put that much detail into it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's
so if they're thinking that thoroughly about like if you do this mission, certain aspects of the environment are going to be different just based on the time of year. I think that's
yeah.
really cool.
I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
It's kind of small, but yeah, it's I think it's good. I think it's good world building, and I think it's just a really good attention to detail.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think that's a good selling point.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the article I wanted up, Jake. Um, while I find this, uh, they, I guess it was in the IGN one. They were kind of calling back to your favorite Assassin's Creed game, AC Brotherhood.
Mhm.
Do you remember the little spy network thing that they had? That you could send out the pigeons or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
you could hire assassins to go and assassinate people, and you would get
Yeah. I forgot about
yeah.
that.
Uh, that's a form of that is returning.
Okay.
They called it like a spy network.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. That's because you could like, if I remember right, couldn't you level them up and then you
Yeah.
like,
So they said, ugh. Um, they said the more like they'll be able to get like info on your targets and stuff like that. They'll be able to just like make your missions a little bit easier
mhm.
if you send them off to gather intel and stuff like that. And that was pretty cool. I'm skimming this article. Okay, as you this is from Game Informer.
Mhm.
As you explore the world, you can create your own network of spies to be your eyes and ears across Japan, and different allies will have unique skills to help you accomplish missions. Create a carefully customizable hideout for your growing Shinobi League as you train your crew, craft new gear, interact with key characters, and choose your base's layouts, decorations, and accessories. The pre-order listing reads
Mhm.
like, yeah, give me a customizable base,
Yeah.
baby. I love it.
Let me decorate.
I want to decorate. What else? I think there's some other cool quotes I wanted from here. I don't remember.
One thing that I noticed is this is a very small, dumb gamer thing, but I just thought it was
Mhm.
cool. At the very end of, I think this is the first time that you see the hidden blade in the trailer. It was at the very end
Yeah.
where Yahweh like ejects her hidden blade, and usually it comes out of just straight out from the wrist.
Yeah.
And this one, it comes out and then it turns, and she grabs it like a handle and can use it like a blade.
Yeah.
Uh, I thought that was so cool. Like,
That is pretty cool.
you know, the hidden blade is a, it's obviously a staple of the Assassin's Creed
Mm.
series, and it's something that's, set it apart, I think, from other stealth-based action games. Um, but a new iteration on that, I am all for. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, okay, we're both pretty high on this, but we need to remember this is Ubisoft.
Yeah.
And we didn't see any gameplay.
Nope.
We do not know what this game is truly going to be like. So far on paper, it looks really good, but we're guessing this is going to be a return to the RPG like game style
Mhm.
of Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla, which I don't think were very popular. But I'd be interested to see if they maybe do like a little bit of a blend
Mhm.
of that style with the Mirage style,
Yeah.
which was more of a return to the older stuff. Would you agree with that, or was it still pretty? Because I didn't play Mirage, you did.
Yeah, I would say so. I think
Okay, good.
the what they did well with Mirage is that they dialed back some of the RPG stuff. They made it way more stealth focused, which I enjoyed, because
Mm-hmm.
I never really cared for the RPG combat system.
Right.
Um, they tried to make it a little bit more parkour focused. I don't think they necessarily succeeded with that. Um, I think the parkour was still kind of on the same level as the RPG ones. But overall, I think if they could find a good mix between the RPG stuff and not necessarily Mirage, but maybe like if they could think back to what worked on Syndicate,
Yeah.
kind of, even if they made it more of when you're playing as, I'm sorry, what was the guy protagonist's name? I can't think
Yeah.
of it.
Yasuke.
Yasuke, thank you. Um, when you're playing as him, maybe it's more of the RPG, like, hand to
Yeah.
hand combat situation. But then when you're playing as Yahweh, it's more stealth focused. You have better parkour skills, and it's more strategic, kind of like when you would play as Evie
Yeah.
in Syndicate. You kind of switch between the play styles of each of those. And like obviously both characters are going to have a certain amount of both skills, but
Yeah.
one is clearly going to have, like, I think Yahweh's clearly going to have the more stealth related skills, and then Yasuke would have the, like, up close hand to hand, like, sword combat.
Yeah. So I think they're definitely going to give you a choice of how you want to play this,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you can just switch seamlessly.
Yeah,
So I just play the whole game as Yahweh. So
I probably would too.
yeah. Except the times they made me. That's what I did with Syndicate.
Oh, for sure.
I always played as Evie until they made me play as Jacob.
Yeah, it was just more fun.
It is. It's more. That's. I think that's what a lot of like us older fans come to an Assassin's Creed game for,
Mm-hmm.
is to be stealthy and crawl around the rooftops and ultimately fail at trying to be sneaky. But we tried.
Yeah, the fun is
I wanna-
in trying to be stealthy.
Exactly. So I don't know. We're definitely gonna see more, I'm sure, at the Ubisoft Forward, which is
Mhm.
like next month, I think.
Yeah, we're getting
Part
close
of
to.
part of Key 3.
Yeah, we're getting close
um,
to Key 3 season.
It's almost Key 3 season, baby.
Yeah. I'm kind of I'm trying to keep myself in the mindset of this is Ubisoft.
Yeah.
They have a very good track record of putting out like the initial information for a game that think is really cool. Like they do a really good job of the initial reveal being very interesting. It's only when the game comes out that it's disappointing. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
kind of keep my expectations lower because it's Ubisoft and I'm just hoping that I'm pleasantly surprised when it finally comes out.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what they could show that would make me just say no. No way I'm
Mhm.
buying this. And I don't really know what that would be. Like I love Japan. I love that time period. I like the setting. What they've said so far sounds very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know what they could show me that that would just like completely turn me off.
For me, I mean, don't give me ship combat. I don't want it.
They were kind of hinting at that, weren't they?
They said that
They
they
showed the
talked about
ships.
like ships coming in, and it's Japan, it's an island. I'm sure there probably is going to be part of it, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't want that. I want
Don't care.
put it in a city setting. Let me climb on everything, and like, I know they can't do that because there's going to be like obviously smaller villages and stuff that you have to go to sometimes, but like, just don't make it the massive desert like Origins or
Yeah.
have to go everywhere in a boat like Valhalla. Like just let me climb on a bunch of rooftops and feel like an actual assassin.
Yeah. Make it a good open world,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
But like, if it's just because I'm trying to think back to like, what about Mirage? Just made me say no, and I don't really know what that is. Other maybe the setting. Like I already played Origins. I
Mm-hmm.
already played a desert Assassin's Creed game. I guess I didn't want to play another one. Maybe that's it.
Yeah. I think what made Assassin's Creed interesting for so many years, especially after they were done with like the Ezio trilogy, and they started going into different regions, is you never really knew what the next game was going to be.
Yeah, for sure.
So like in Assassin's Creed 3, like I know obviously that was not a super well received one, but you go to
They're all
America,
wrong.
like
They're all
and
wrong.
yeah,
Assassin's Creed 3 was the best.
I enjoyed it. I still do.
I loved it.
Um, but they made that massive jump from being in Italy for the last 3 or 4 games or however many, and then now you're in America. Then right after that, it's like, oh, now you're a pirate, and then they went to France and went to England. Like they explored all these different areas. Um, but we've already had our fill of like the desert Assassin's Creed with Origin and Odyssey. I think I would consider that a desert one too.
Why? There's
Wasn't
no
that?
desert in that.
Wasn't there?
No, it's like Greece. That's Greece.
Oh, maybe I'm not.
No,
I didn't play enough of
desert in
that one,
Greece.
so
That
I'm
was a lot of boat. That was a lot of boat.
yeah, and I'm
And
good on that too.
yeah,
I didn't even like the first boat game that they put out, so
unbelievable.
yeah. But no, just give us something new. Like,
And this is, I think that fits this. This
mhm,
is very new.
yeah,
So I don't know. Just have to see.
Yeah.
Just have to wait and see.
yeah. I will. There's been a lot of samurai games in the last few years, though, so I'm interested to see how it stacks up.
Yeah, but I've played exactly 0 of those, so I guess that doesn't matter to me. I understand why it would have
Mhm,
somebody else. Like, yeah, I've already played Ghost of Tsushima. I've already played Neo.
mhm,
Like, but I haven't. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. I don't really know why,
mhm.
but yeah, I think that maybe that's just what's gonna that's what's gonna get me to play Shadows like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Anything else to say on Assassin's Creed Shadows?
Ubisoft, we don't have the best relationship, but
No.
I'm putting my faith in you. Don't let me down.
Don't monetize the absolute crap out of it. Don't give me weird mounts. It's just weird.
Yeah, we don't. We want to. I want to work for my armor and my weapons. Like, I want to
Yeah.
see the cool thing in the shop that I could buy if I just get this enough. I could get enough money. Let me not real life money. Get enough in-game money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and don't let me just pay real money for in-game money. Like, I want to
Yeah.
earn what I'm getting. I
Give
don't
me
want
like a. Sorry, I kind of interrupted you.
No, you're good.
Okay. Give me like a really good crafting system in this. Like, I
Mhm.
understand a lot of people don't like crafting systems, but I like really good ones. And I don't think I've had a really good crafting system since Witcher
Mhm.
3.
Yeah.
And if they could pull something off like that, that would be incredible.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of crafting systems because a lot of them just don't feel like they're worth it. Like, they give you way too many resources
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what any of it does, and like I will just be hoarding all this stuff, and the things that I could use to craft it on or the things I could use it to craft don't really seem very worth it to me. And I'm like, but I don't know if I should sell it because I don't know if I'm going to need it later. I don't want any of that. Like, if you're going to have a crafting system, make it like worth my time to go out and get these resources.
And that's what's so good about Witcher 3's
Mm-hmm.
crafting system is the things you craft are extremely worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find like diagrams throughout the world, and you can stumble on them or just use a guide. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But that's the only way you can craft Witcher gear, which is like the only cool looking gear in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else you find just looks like a weird sweater or something. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you collect all these resources, and like crafting resources get put in their own category in your inventory. They don't take up any weight in your inventory, and they don't really sell for much.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel no pressure to keep all of them because you don't really see them in your inventory, and they don't take up any space or anything like that. So once you find these Witcher diagrams, you can take them to a certain blacksmith. You have to have a certain level blacksmith. So you sometimes, like the best ones you have to do a quest for to unlock,
Mm-hmm.
which is super cool. And then you can take them these Witcher diagrams, and then they'll sometimes you'll have enough materials, sometimes you won't. And to get those certain materials, you can like disassemble other materials that will turn that material into a couple other materials, which you can then turn those materials into other materials, and then use that to build your thing or build your sword or whatever. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best crafting system I think I've ever played with.
Yeah.
So if they could give me even something half as good as that, I would. A good RPG needs a good crafting system.
Yeah.
My
Fully
thoughts.
agree.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Xbox has made the news yet again by closing some successful studios, specifically Tango Gameworks, who you might recognize from creating Hi-Fi Rush, a very good, that I never played, but supposedly very good, very popular, very well selling game that came out last year.
Yeah.
They got fired. They're all done.
Yep.
Despite making a very good game, which I don't know. I've spent like the week listening to podcasts and people being confused why this happened after they sell or if they put out a really good game. Like it just doesn't make any sense, this and that. And I agree, it doesn't make sense to do that. But to me, it sounds like Xbox had no intentions of keeping them open, no matter how well that game sold. Since they took over Bethesda,
Mm-hmm.
which Tango Gameworks was a part of, they probably just said, once Hi-Fi Rush releases, once we get you to port it to PlayStation, you're done, no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't think it mattered if it was the best-selling game of the year. They weren't gonna make it.
Yeah. Which Xbox is just like, in the last few years, I think they've made so many decisions that have just not only negatively affected their business and their image, but just negatively affected the gaming industry.
Big time.
Like there was, I don't think I'm out of line to say that they kind of started the trend of big studios buying up all the little studios, just completely overspending, overhiring, and now when things don't turn out as successful as they wanted, or even when they do, they no longer have the resources to keep working on all these smaller studios.
Yep.
And I mean, Microsoft's they're one of the biggest companies in the world. I'm sure they do have the resources, but they're not getting the refund on the investment that they thought they would. And it just sucks because once again, hardworking, talented game developers are losing their jobs just so, Phil Spencer can get another pay raise this year. And I don't know if it's Phil Spencer specifically. I just,
Right.
It's the people in those positions, like their jobs aren't, they're not in danger. They're doing just fine.
No, they're fine, and it's like when they sold Bethesda, like they wanted the Elder Scrolls IP and Fallout IP and Starfield, and they wanted all that, but it's like ZeniMax was probably like, well, you got to take everything. You got to take Arcane, you got to take Tango,
Mm-hmm.
and Xbox is like, okay, well,
yeah,
we'll take them, but we're gonna close them.
Yeah.
So I don't think it mattered.
Yeah, especially when you're buying up like Bethesda or Activision Blizzard, already huge companies that probably have smaller studios in under their umbrella. Like you're bringing on all of those people. They probably have no choice.
Yeah.
And I'm betting that they probably didn't want to do that for all of the smaller studios, even though they're the ones that are actually putting out the games that people are enjoying the most. Like,
Yeah.
they buy up Bethesda thinking that Starfield is going to be the next huge thing when a indie studio probably like 2 levels lower on Bethesda's umbrella puts out a way better game.
I'd be curious to see what's sold better, Hi-Fi Rush or Starfield. Probably
I don't know.
Starfield.
I mean, probably Starfield just because of the like how big the name was and how much
Right.
marketing went into it before people realized that it sucked.
So Tango Gameworks wasn't the only one. They also closed Arcane Austin,
Mm-hmm.
who was responsible for Redfall, which was a resounding disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes sense, you made a shitty game. You don't, we close you. That's kind of brutal, but doesn't make sense. But to be wrapped in with Tango Gameworks, I think is why everyone is so confused.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it mattered. Good game, bad game, either one. If Redfall was a huge success, I still think they would have been closed.
Yeah, I think Redfall was definitely a victim of Microsoft buying up the studio. They had what I thought Redfall looked cool when it was first announced. I think they
Yeah,
saw
we
that.
talked about it. We talked
Yeah,
about it a lot.
and I think it was probably seen as like that looks like it could be a successful game. Get it out next year. We need a you know
Yeah, we
we
need
need to
something
move
from
this
you.
along. We need to show some return on this investment that we just made, uh,
Yep.
which then caused them to rush the game way before it was ready. It was a disaster when it came out. Got horrible reviews, basically tanked the reputation of the studio, and then Xbox can be like, okay, well, you failed. Peace out.
Yep. But I mean, at least they didn't close. So Arcane has two studios,
Yeah.
one in Austin and one in Lyon, France.
Mm-hmm.
Arcane Lyon is the popular one.
That's
The,
the one that has done pretty well, I think.
yeah, they made Dishonored and
Deathloop, I think.
Deathloop. I wanted to
Mhm.
say Deadshot, but I know that wasn't right.
Close
Yeah,
enough.
Deathloop's very, very successful games.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they get to stay open.
Yeah. And they're the ones that are working on Marvel's Blade, um,
Oh yeah,
which I hope that's good.
I
I
hope it's good too. I'm not gonna play it, but I hope it's good.
I think it could be coming from them. I think they might have an interesting take on it because Dishonored, even though I barely played it, it was a very good game, and I've heard great things about it. Um,
Dishonored. You played Dishonored.
I played some of the first one. Um,
Oh,
yeah, and
okay.
nowhere near beat it, but the parts of it that I played, I did enjoy. I think it was just another victim of being one of too many games that I was already playing.
Yeah, that was the time in our lives where we just bought everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad that they are still open. I hope that they can still succeed without Microsoft cutting them off, but um yeah, just Xbox continuing to be the worst example in how to run a business this size.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably talk about this forever.
Yeah, I know we
Just
could.
it's not looking good
Mm-mm.
for Xbox. Like I don't think they're gonna go away anytime soon. But if I were gonna, I would bet the family farm that Xbox is going to be the first to go
Mm-hmm.
out of the big three. But
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know, whatever. Okay, let's move on. Less depressing.
All right.
Jake, do you know who Jake Solomon is?
I assume you're gonna tell me.
I will tell you. So Jake Solomon was the creative director of XCOM Enemy Unknown and XCOM 2 and XCOM 2 War of the Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the greatest strategy games ever created. So he is like a god to us strategy game fans.
Okay.
He left Firaxis, the studio responsible for XCOM and XCOM 2, last year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He also made Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Okay.
So I'm not big into superhero games, and so I didn't play that, and it wasn't the most popular game.
Mm-hmm.
But after he released that with Firaxis, he left, and he created a new studio. And I saw that, and I'm like, oh boy, what kind of crazy cool strategy game is he gonna make? Like, he's responsible for XCOM and XCOM 2, like the best strategy games ever.
Mm-hmm.
And no, he's creating a life sim. He's making a Sims competitor. I'm like,
all right.
He partnered up with somebody from Maxis who makes the Sims.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're just gonna be a little tiny studio, like 10 people. And they're gonna make a Sims competitor, which I think he said it's not gonna be like a rip off of the Sims.
Mm-hmm.
So I read an article from an interview from him, and then he was just on the MinMax podcast that I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He's a funny dude. Like
Yeah.
Best podcast host you could ever have on a podcast. Jake Solomon, call us.
Mm-hmm.
We're fun.
Come on the show.
Yeah, we can talk. But he said he really wanted to, instead of like, like in the Sims, when your character has to pee, you have to tell them to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
But like he said, nothing like that's going to be in his game, but like a larger focus on story. Like there's going to be a story of why they have to go to the bathroom or something like that. I think he was joking, but I don't know. I was kind of confused by what this game's going to be about, but it's super early on in development. So
Mm-hmm.
he didn't say at all when he'd have anything to show. So I just thought it was kind of funny that this like legendary strategy game creator is gonna make a Sims competitor.
Yeah.
All right, do your thing, Jake. That sounds like fun, buddy.
We're rooting for you.
Yeah, you want to do that? Go right ahead.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun. Okay, moving on. Helldivers 2 has become PlayStation's fastest selling game ever. Mm-hmm. I was kind of blown away by that headline. 12 million sales in 12 weeks.
Yeah. That game took over for several I don't even remember how long it's been out now, but I feel like it's the only game I've been hearing about for the last like 2 months or something.
Yeah, I agree. It's even like made it on to TikTok, and not many video games make it onto TikTok.
Uh-huh.
In like a big way, like where women are making TikToks about how much their boyfriends or their husbands love Helldivers 2. Like you don't see that very often.
Yeah.
I think I saw that with Tears of the Kingdom, and that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty big.
Yeah. Although they did have a little bit of controversy, as
They definitely did.
the gaming industry always does. So Helldivers 2 is, I forget who the studio is, but they're owned by Sony.
Arrowhead.
Arrowhead, that's what it was. And apparently, since the game released, there's been a policy on the game page that says a PSN account is required to be linked to your, if you bought it on Steam, you have to link your PSN account to your Steam in order to play it, if you're not playing on PlayStation. And for the first, several weeks or months that the game has been out, they haven't enforced that. So that's, I think, how they've been able to have 12 million people buying and playing this game for the last couple months. Well, Sony decided that they were going to start enforcing that, and put out a notice that starting on whatever date, you were going to be required to link a PSN account to your Steam in order to continue playing Helldivers, which a lot of people have already purchased. Which, when I heard that, I thought, that doesn't, it's, you just go online, sign up for PSN or whatever. You don't have to like buy a PlayStation Plus membership or anything.
Right.
What I didn't realize is that PlayStation Network is not available in a lot of countries.
Really?
Like I think I read somewhere that it was like 177 countries would lose access to Helldivers 2.
Wow.
Once this went through. And like, yeah, there might be ways around it, like with a VPN or something.
Still.
But it caused such an uproar in the community that they basically got review bombed on Steam, and it was like there were like 30,000 negative reviews posted on the Steam page or something.
Yeah, it went from like overwhelmingly positive to mixed.
Yeah,
pretty quick,
which is crazy for a game that's been that successful.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Sony did eventually walk back that decision.
Yep.
But now it's, I think the last update I saw on it was that the game is just now no longer available in those countries. So it's basically, it's back to right where people were
what's
upset
the difference?
Yeah. Like you're just cutting off a good chunk of your fan base because they're in countries that PlayStation isn't involved in or something.
Probably because they can't track user data if they're playing on Steam, not signed into a PlayStation account.
That's exactly what it is. And I think people are, even though I love PlayStation, all my favorite games are on PlayStation, I think it's fair to not be super trustworthy of a Sony run system, because they've had a lot of data leaks in previous years.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I think my first PSN account on my PS3 back in like 2010 or something, my account got hacked and I lost like $20 from my wallet or something.
Yeah.
Like, so I can fully understand why people wouldn't want to do that. And now it kind of seems like even if they didn't have to do that part, they still just aren't able to play it anymore, which really sucks.
That does suck. Like, come on, big game companies. People want to play these games. Like, quit making dumb decisions.
Yeah. Like, just, you're still, if you own the company, you're still going to make your royalties off of all of these sales, even if it's on Steam in countries that you're not working in. Like, that, I have to think that that's still revenue coming to the company. But
yeah, it definitely, I mean, obviously it is. They're the publisher. They're making good money, but I guess like we said, they can't track any data if it's not in a PSN account. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I guess maybe any microtransactions, maybe Steam gets a cut of that
Mm-hmm.
that they wouldn't get if they were signed in a PSN account. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Either way, I think something that I often have to remind myself is that these companies, even though they put out, some of our favorite things, video games, they are still soulless mega corporations, and
Capitalism,
they're gonna
baby.
get your money and your data however they can.
Oh yeah. Yep. Never forget, Jake.
Yep.
All right. The something I saw whilst scrolling, which was Witcher 3 is getting a mod editor on May
Interesting.
21st for PC versions of the game.
Okay.
And despite my Googling efforts, couldn't really figure out what that is. I'm
Hmm.
assuming it's functions similarly. Um, I'm guessing you can download mods and all that will go into this mod editor and you'll be able to like maybe control mods a little bit easier.
Okay.
I don't know, it seems like a really big deal. Like people are excited about it, but I couldn't find any explanations as to like what it is. That
I'm. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I guess I'm excited, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Um. Again, I am such a novice when it comes to PC gaming. I don't. There's like one game that I have any mods installed on.
Stardew Valley?
It's Stardew Valley, yeah,
Me too.
which also doesn't. Uh, since some recent update, it doesn't work anymore, so I have to fix that. Um,
Probably the
but
1.6 update.
yeah. But what this sounds like to me is maybe some sort of system in game that allows you to mess with your mods rather than having to do it in an outside program,
Right.
which
Yep.
that sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess. Yeah. Sure.
again, I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to use it, but
Right.
for people who are that into Witcher where they are, super into modding and messing with different things, like I think that could be pretty cool if that's what it is.
So I would 100% do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I bought Witcher 3 my PC version on GOG because
Mm-hmm.
that's CD Projekt Red's storefront. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to like give them all the money, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to deal with mods on GOG. I guess I haven't really tried,
Mm-hmm.
but it might function the same as doing it on Steam. The only thing I've modded, like we just said, is Stardew Valley,
Yeah.
and that was easy enough. So I could probably do it on um, GOG, but maybe this will just make it easier to get mods. Like you said, in game, they're probably
Mm-hmm.
like on the main menu, there might be like mods. You
Yeah.
could click on that, and then maybe you could just scroll through mods that way. That would be cool. That would make it like 10 times easier rather than like having to physically make a file, make sure it goes in that file. Cause like modding Stardew like is kind of easy, but still kind of a pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured it out, but like I had to look up a tutorial. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean Jesus, that's Tuesday.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll check that out and I'll report back.
When we record again in
It's,
2 months.
we're gonna try not to, David. Try not to.
We'll get back into it.
We'll try. Jake's busy. Okay, we're busy. We're both busy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, lastly, we're running long, so let's hit this quick.
Okay.
Nintendo president, I forget his name, tweeted saying there will be no Switch 2 news this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was really smart because we were all going to be going into Summer Games Fest waiting for their announcement for a direct, and
Mm-hmm.
every single one of us would be expecting Switch 2 news at the end
Yeah.
of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a very smart move just to get out ahead and say, hey guys, cool your jets. It ain't
chill.
happening. So I think they said they would have an announcement by Q2 of next year.
Yeah.
So maybe in the winter we'll get something.
Yeah. I believe their exact phrasing on it was within this fiscal year.
Yeah, which is what, Q2 next year, right?
Yeah. So it's on its way. But it's not as early as I guess we anticipated.
Which I'm so sick of all the Switch 2 rumors at this point.
Yeah.
Because every podcast I listen to picks up on them and talks about it. And it's like, guys, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Like, it's all just fake, because everybody thought there was going to be a Switch Pro in like 2020, 2021. Never happened. Everybody assumed this fall we'd be getting, or I think they were saying we would have gotten it this spring, right? But it was like delayed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like delayed to March 2025, but I think him saying this dispelled those rumors too. So
Yeah.
Nintendo's very good at not leaking stuff, so I think people just completely make up these rumors half the time, and it just gets picked up because everybody wants a Switch too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm getting kind of tired of it too. I feel like a lot of like especially gaming and tech YouTube channels is I feel like every couple weeks there's a new like is this the Switch 2 or something like that?
mm-hmm.
And they'll bring up some rumor from supposedly a reputable source that there's been like some specs leaked or something to do with the next system. And first of all, they're never that exciting. Like I think if any of it is true, then more than likely this is just going to be more of like a Switch Pro. Like I don't think if it turns into what the rumors that I've been seeing, it's just going to be a sort of upgraded Switch.
Which I don't think they're gonna do.
Yeah, like
I think it's gonna be a brand new console.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe Nintendo finally does something kind of predictable. I don't know.
I don't know. I only have two hopes for. I mean, I have a lot more than that, but I have two main ones. New 3D Mario as a launch title.
Big time. Oh yeah.
And fix Joy-Con drift. I'll cover up.
Yeah. Fix that problem.
Yeah. And backwards compatible with Switch.
Yes.
That would be huge.
Yeah, I feel like if they don't have that, it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Or as well as it would.
Especially with how massive the Switch catalog is now. Like,
yeah.
That's probably, aside from PlayStation, that's probably the console that I have the most games on.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, if I'm not able to play even the first party ones, like Zelda or Mario on the next console, I'm going to be kind of upset.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, you would still have your Switch one, but I think you would want to play it on the better screen or, experiencing Tears of the Kingdom and 4K would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Although they'd probably just sell like an HD remaster or something.
Yeah, for $70.
Yeah.
But all right, well, get used to waiting. We're gonna be waiting a while for that. Don't get.
Yeah, I think we've all kind of gotten used to that at this point.
Yep.
And it's been, God, when did Switch 1 come out?
2017.
2017. Wow.
Yep. It's been 7 years. Which is that's a long time for Nintendo.
Yeah.
They usually get a little quicker than that. But times have changed, Jake. The game industry is not what it was.
Nope.
All right, Jake, unless you've got any more pressing thoughts, I think that's a pod.
I think we can probably call that a pod. We covered a lot.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the A to Jump podcast. He is Gooba and Jetpack. Gooba, what's new on the Gooba and Jetpack YouTube channel? What should people be waiting for?
Well, as I talked about at the beginning of the episode, we are gonna have a Nancy Drew Mystery of the Seven Keys review coming out very soon. Could be depending on when this episode comes out, it may already be out, so keep an eye on our YouTube channel.
Check it out.
And just after that, just getting back into making videos. I've got a few ideas that I want to get out there, and we're streaming on Twitch 2 nights a week again, so Tuesdays and Sundays. You can check us out over there. And yeah,
cool. I'm looking forward to all that. Like I don't care about Nancy Drew, but I care what you guys think about it. I think that's interesting.
Well, thank you.
No problem. All right, and I am Justin of Justin Games. I have a YouTube channel, but I don't upload on it. Hopefully I will soon. Who knows? Stay tuned. But anyway, we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
And as always,
oh yes, oh God,
keep on gaming.
It's been so long I forgot.